One of the things I want to talk about is why we get on different pages in the first place. And there's three big reasons that I think about, three kind of categorical reasons. And the first is we don't understand where others are coming from. We're not clear of what's motivating them, what their priorities are. We're working in a certain vertical, set of projects. Those are our purview. That's what we're looking at. And even with the best of intentions, we get sucked into that vertical, looking at that. And we can lose sight of sometimes a larger picture. So we don't know what's motivating decisions above us. Whether or not we agree with them, it's good to know them. Right? The second is we don't understand where we're coming from. So we don't understand where others are coming from. We don't know where we're coming from. Meaning we have trouble tracing back the project that we're working on as to why it was set up in the first place. Now imagine some of you are very good at that, right? But on the other hand, because of that fact that we can get pulled down into one of our own projects, and we can work on it for so long, we can lose sight. It doesn't happen as it's not something we consciously have happen, but to the larger business objective we're trying to achieve. We can't tell the tight story, as you were saying, kind of the business rationale for why we're doing what we're doing. And the last is kind of classic. Others don't understand where we're coming from. So communication, as we said, is just generally bad in organizations. One of the reasons that I call it communication blind spot, which means as soon as something becomes clear to me, I forget that it's not clear to everyone else. And so operating as if it's clear to everyone else. So understanding others' motivations and priorities. What is the best way to do that? Understand others' motivations and priorities. Ask them, right? The best way to understand someone's priorities is to ask them. And one of the things I see in organizations, and you may or may not see this, but I haven't been in lots of organizations over the last 15 years, that I see a lot of is SVP of operations, SVP of finance, doing something, whatever that something is. And I'll ask a question like, well, what are the priorities of your president of marketing? Well, I think it's this and this. Do you think that? Or do you know that? Well, I think it. Well, when's the last time you had a conversation? Well, I've never had a conversation yet. I've seen the strategy documents that come out. But we all know what strategy documents are. They're kind of sanitized versions of a bunch of people's conversations. We don't really know what's keeping the president up at night. I mean, when that president sits bolt upright at 3 in the morning, why? What are they worried about? What's that thing? And unless we really know what that thing is, we're kind of flying blind as to trying to hit a mark we're not sure of. And so it could be the person right above you, which is worried about the execution of your project and several others. It could be above that, it's worried about larger business goals. But seeing that chain of command and what different people are working on gives you power in the organization, right? So a suggestion. Request time with the senior executive and key stakeholders for the express purpose of understanding their priorities. Actually put that on the agenda. It seems simple, but it's often missed. Some sample questions, topics of conversations. What are your top 3 priorities for the next 12 months? Probe and try to get as high as you can in the organization. If ask questions like, what keeps you up at night? I mean, bring them down to very ground level questions. What makes you worried? I mean, people might think it's weird, but keep pushing. That's what's going to give you power. That's what will keep you. How can I and my team be more helpful at hitting them? What are the highest value-add activities you see me and my team contributing right now? Do you see any low value-add activities that we should be spending less time? We just talked about we don't understand where others are coming from. We don't understand where we're coming from, which is kind of a tongue-in-cheek way of saying we're doing something that we're not quite sure. We've lost connections to why. So in today's complex organizations, projects can easily become disconnected from the larger business reason why they were started. It was potentially started by maybe someone like Frankie's boss who decided that there were these 4 or 5 projects that needed done. But he himself wasn't that well connected to some of these maybe larger business objectives. And this one seemed right, so we'll go forward with that. You can quickly get swept right up into that. And for the first 6 months, you're a victim. After a while, you become complicit in the dysfunction. So it's something to keep in mind. Before you know it, you're working on something that is dubious or strained connections to the organizational goals or objectives or KPIs. In the perfect world, this wouldn't happen, but we don't live in a perfect world. As a project owner, it's incumbent upon you to continually draw those connections, maintaining a clear understanding of the business narrative, and seeing how you fit into it as a key technical solution. This way, is continually stay curious about the broader business context you're operating in. We've been talking about that already. Be clear about the strategic goals, financial objectives of your broader organization. When decisions get made, know why they were made in an organization. And this is actually probably, I think, one of the more important ones that I see people are challenged with quite a bit. Stay on top of trends, not only in your technical community, but in the broader business realm in which you operate. So I've seen people in technical realms that can get very kind of entrenched in the technical worlds in which they're operating with, but they don't necessarily truly understand the insurance business if they're in the insurance world. So they can't understand, as you were pointing out, Gene, that broader intention as to why projects were green-lighted in the first place. And so kind of at a loss to know where and how to strategically push back.